Good afternoon and welcome to the celebration of Grant's life. Captain Grant Davidge-Pitts, a man who lived for adventure, caring, loving, and always ready, excited, and fired up to take the controls into his hands. May I ask, please, that you check your cell phones are now switched off, or dare I say, in aeroplane mode, and join me and the family now to energetically create a sacred space of stillness and reflection as we celebrate and honor Grant's life. A celebration of life is a special and sacred event. When loved ones come together at a very intimate time in the journey of life and after an event that has been full of shock for you and taken you as a family on an incredibly emotional road of transformation, full of the emotions that can only really be felt and experienced in death. But along with all the pain and deep sadness, there are always opportunities for growth, tenderness, warmth, love, and laughter. Grant was a man who loved a party, and he would not want this celebration to be in any way a gloomy event. Each and every one of you gathered here this afternoon has been touched by Grant's life in some special and unique way. And that is indeed a gift from him to you. It is but natural that you who have known and loved Grant should regret his departure from amongst our physical beings. Yet on this occasion, it is our duty not to think of ourselves, but to think now only of Grant. It is a very important time for you, his family, and friends this afternoon to share this space here under these magnificent trees in this very beautiful garden in celebration of both Grant's life on earth as well as his transition out of the physical and into the non-physical. My name is Cameron Hogg. I am a spiritual life coach and specialist soul midwife. And in my work with people at the end of their life, the end of their earth life in the physical body, I help to bring consciousness to this being a time of new for everyone, a time of change, of challenge, and together with all the heartbreak and the feelings, also a beautiful time full of gifts. It is death that makes life real for us. Death is the natural part of the cycle of life. And death is a very special time when our soul can be free, fully expanded. A beautiful time when we can feel bigger than we ever do on earth, trapped in a physical body. Death does not exist. It does not exist as an end. Death is a change. It is transformation. Death is all about opportunities and gifts, even when it doesn't feel anything like a gift at the moment. And so I constantly meet incredibly courageous people, strong, loving family members, prepared to embrace the journey of transformation that death is for them. People who have probably discovered so much more about their own truth as a direct result of this experience, and who are now able to look at life differently, with new eyes, and are able to grow, to let go of some of the small things that distract us in life, small things that at the end of the day are not of any real significance. When the soul chooses to let go of their bodies and the earth life, That decision has been made because the soul knows when they have completed all that they came here to this life to experience. So today is about Grant completing his cycle of this life and beginning a new one. We come together to honor and celebrate what his life was about and what he as a person meant to each and every one of you that knew him. As we listen to this first piece of music, please let yourselves become still, silence the noise of thoughts that are in your heads, let go of the day, your hectic lives, and make your energy available to both Grant's family and also to his soul that is around us at this time. Michelle Obama said, everybody has a story, and every story is a gift. Grant was a son, a younger brother, an uncle, colleague. To many of you here today, the captain. A dad to Shelley and to Mark, a grandpa and Gaza to his granddaughters, and a husband and life partner to Mandy for 49 and a half years. But the sole qualities that all of you clearly knew was his caring, empathetic personality and the concern he had for everyone around him. It is a beautiful story, a beautiful gift for all of you, a man who lived his dreams, was constantly busy, fixing, doing, building things. He loved being outdoors in nature, filling his life with the adventures and experiences of nature. aligning his heart to the natural world, and finding his higher self in things in life that filled him with joy. Grant was not a specifically religious man, farming cattle, training dogs, building boats, growing garlic for a time in the Eastern Cape, making yachting a popular sport in Bahrain, and the deep love he had for his family are the symbols of how his soul related to the multiple dimensions of the world around him. Those were his religion. The challenge that the unavoidable pain of someone we love dying offers our souls now is for us to grow, to ourselves transform and be different, to evolve in your own lives because of the energy you connected to with someone you all loved and someone with whom you all shared so many wonderful experiences. We light candles to show our own soul's energy that we express as human beings, and also to bring awareness to why we are here this afternoon right now. And so I'm going to ask Grant's wife to come up, light a candle for her energy, and to light a candle that represents Grant's ongoing light in the world around us, his new energy.
So you think you can tell heaven from hell, blue skies from pain? Can you tell a green field from a cold steel rail, a smile from a veil? Do you think you can tell? Did they get you to train your heroes for ghosts?
And Grant's daughter Shelley and her daughters Mia and Ella, come up and light your candles.
Cold comfort for change. Did you exchange a walk-on part in the war for a lead role in a cage?
And his son Grant to light a candle representing his light and the light of his two daughters Allegra and Freya that are are not able to be with us today.
Year after year, running over the same old ground. What have we found? The same old fears. Wish you were here.
Life is a series of cycles, each an end and a new beginning. Each one of you have unique and special memories of Grant, different for each of you, but each memory is a gift that you can hold on to and cherish, a gift that has impacted your lives and how you see the world. How long we live on the earth is of no importance whatsoever. What is important is the impact our life had, our unique light, had on the earth and those around us. And yes, during his time here on earth, Grant, with his love of nature, of flying, of yachting, he definitely gave love, light, and warmth. As a busy man who lived his passion every single day, making life an adventurous tapestry of excitement. Our understanding of death is different for each one of us, different for each of the consciousnesses and for each of the religions. And indeed, each difference is a value. Whatever your belief, know that death always enriches our lives. Death is a calling to change, to look at life differently, to be new, to be even more in our truth. Often death is simply a challenge for us to open our hearts and to love even more. It is such a privilege for you, his loved ones and his family, to witness in death what is absolutely real in life. That part of us that never dies, our eternal spirit, our soul. And that is what we celebrate today, Grant's incredible soul. So, let us all celebrate with you, his family, and focus on the life lived, not the way his life ended. Honor Grant's life the way you all knew him, how he found power and connection in nature, in his love of water and air, his loving heart, his vibrant life, his party energy. A soul so ready for an adventure. Probably a man not too much defined by society's rules and conventions. A truly free spirit. A spirit who simply loved life. And Mandy said it was a good thing that he had to wear a uniform to work, otherwise he might have gone out in his pajamas. Our role here today is so much more important because this is the last time such a large group of people will come together to think of only one person, of Grant. So as we become still again and we listen to the second piece of music, I ask you all to reflect now on what his memories meant for you personally, what he meant to you, because your thoughts,
I feel you, I hope you comprehend. For the man who tried to hurt you, he's explaining the way I'm feeling. For all the jealousy I caused you, the snake's the reason why I'm trying to hide. As for all the things you taught me, it sends my future into clearer dimensions. You'll never
Rabindranath Tagore, the Indian poet, said, "Death is not the extinguishing of the light, it is simply putting the light out because the dawn has come." The wind blows and we can feel it. We hear the sound of it, but we don't know where it comes from, and neither do we know where it is going. And so too is it for everyone born of spirit. We are all of us multidimensional beings. We are a body, a soul, and a spirit. And death is indeed a sacred time. It is a time of new spiritual awareness, of freeing our souls from the restrictions of the body, from the cage of our physical passions. A glorious time to be totally unrestricted, and to finally evolve back into our absolute truth again. A time to be free and expanded. In religion, when we make the sign of the cross, it represents life, the vertical and the horizontal. The legacy Grant leaves behind him is not based on how long he lived, but how intensely he lived life, how much difference he made to all of your lives. Grant will live on through your memories, your stories, and your laughs. And his son, and his daughter, and his grandchildren are his legacy. And through all of you, his spirit will live on. And your eyes will continue to allow his soul to see the things in life that filled his heart. His wife Mandy said to me a very beautiful thing. She said Grant flew through his last storm and he has landed peacefully. I invite Johnny Woods, the first speaker, to please come up.
Good afternoon to you all. My name is Johnny Woods, and I'm honoured and humbled families to Keith and his family and the extended family. Mandy's asked me to thank everyone for the many messages of condolences which have overwhelmed her and the family. I have known Grant for over 50 years. Being almost identical in age, it's not surprising that we met while we were starting our aviation careers together, and we joined SAA within a year of each other. In our early years, we flew the same airplanes. Our paths crossed from time to time as we progressed through the ranks, and although we were not close friends, I think I can honestly say that we really enjoyed each other's company. At that time, all we just wanted to be known as was good pilots and nice guys. Grant certainly succeeded in those departments. Later, when I was privileged to be the head of flight operations and chief pilot at South African Airways, I needed to have a strong group of senior people to support me in managing the 855, I think it was, pilots that we had at that time, 100 flight engineers, in the same time. The prerequisites to be part of that group was to be a great pilot, an excellent commander, an inspiring leader, with just the right balance of discipline and empathy. Grant fitted that bill naturally and more. His contribution as a senior captain, check captain, were immense. He was someone who set the standard for all our pilots to aspire to, and should and could have aspired to. I can say without doubt that Grant was loved by everybody, by flight deck crew, cabin crew, ground staff, technicians, friends and strangers alike. I never heard anyone utter a bad word about him. He was one of a kind. Following our mandatory retirement from SAA at 63, Grant Louis Talliard, Greg Wright, Paul Frost, Ray Fitzpatrick, and I were blessed, largely by the goodness of Jeff Day, to have another 2 years of flying, a bonus 2 years of flying with Air Mauritius. And it was here I really got to know Grant the man, Grant the husband, Grant the father and grandfather, and more especially for me, Grant the coveted friend. We loved the flying. We took our wives on many flights with us to many interesting destinations, and living across the canal in La Belize Marina, with our boats moored at the end of the patios, we had awesome days off, boating up and down the west coast, down to Le Morne, Beneteer Island, picnics, Crystal Rock, perhaps up to Latouche Rock occasionally, swimming with the dolphins, snorkeling, and most of all, man, the lovely evenings watching the sun go down in the west near the reef with a couple of beers and watching for the elusive green flash. Many great dinners, long evenings. This had to be close to paradise. Our families visited us. Awesome for all of us. On our return from Mauritius, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and shortly afterwards Grant with Parkinson's. So typical of the man, as soon as he found out about his condition, he called me and said I was not alone, and we could fight these challenges together. A great comfort. Grant accepted this and took it on as one would expect him to. But man was also experiencing deteriorating health. And here, Anne, my wife, and I saw another dimension to Grant that was just so impressive. Grant the carer. Even though he was in trouble himself, he doted over and assisted Mandy right to the end. Both of them, during this period, still managed to be wonderful hosts. Man, the dignity, serenity, brave face of both of you, under great duress, has been a sight to behold. And so here we are. The shock and disbelief of last Sunday still raw. What does one say? I'd like to finish off with just a couple of clips from some WhatsApps that Mandy said to me, which particularly touched her and the family. John Hesselman, the best guy ever. Every single pilot and cabin crew member loved him. Mike Finch. He was a huge mentor in my career and a colleague and friend. I respected him so much. And Steve Mullins from Air Mauritius, co-pilot from Air Mauritius. Grant was a true gentleman and an exceptional pilot. I can count the number of captains I flew with during my time in aviation that I truly appreciated and enjoyed spending time with, both on and off the aeroplane. So, goodbye, my friend. We're going to miss you terribly. We already are. But I pray that it's just au revoir in the bigger scheme of things. Thank you.
Shelley to read a letter from Grant's brother.
Grant was the most wonderful brother. How incredibly lucky we were to have had one another. We were best friends our entire lives, and remarkably never once had a serious argument. We shared a deep companionship, always bonding over projects we did together. Grant approached life with a positive spirit, a genuine enjoyment, and endless enthusiasm. He brought warmth and optimism into everything he did. He could not have been a better husband, father, and grandfather. The love and care he showed Mandy, the way he raised two accomplished children, and the devotion he gave to his 4 granddaughters, who absolutely adored him, speak of the man he was. Grant and I were fortunate to be raised by wonderful parents, Eleanor and Basil, who instilled in us the values of kindness and respect for others. Those values live clearly and fully in Grant. I consider myself truly blessed to have had the privilege of Grant not only as my brother, but as my closest friend. He will be deeply missed by all who knew him and remembered forever. While distance keeps us apart today, our hearts are with you. We send love from the Davidge-Pitts, Koski, and von Bormann families in the United States.
Mia and Ellie. Ella.
Sky, sea, and earth. These 3 things remind me most about him. He would be in the sky, flying his plane, looking out for Santa on Christmas Day. On earth, on the dusty road, you'll find Grandpa in the little landy. Or on sea or dam, you'll find Grandpa swimming or sailing his boats. All in all, Grandpa was a very adventurous person. He was kind and empathetic. When I was sick, Grandpa would come and bring me sweets and slime and joy. We would sit and talk, but he was even there just for a huge, huge hug. Grandpa loved his birds in the bush and his garden most of all. This is where Grandpa remained calm. If you just so happen to see a grey lorry today, I think he's here with you. I love you, Grandpa.
Can you see over?
Grandpa was an amazing person to all of us, especially my family. He was truly kind and loved to sail his little boats along Emerita Dam. Now let us say a prayer. Dear God, thank you for all the wonderful
Shelley and Mark.
Can this, do we have to talk straight?
In?
Don't you have to talk straight in?
I don't know.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Okay.
Out?
Yes. Yes. All right. Sure, this is my.
Hmm?
Okay. Nothing. Okay. Okay. Dad lived his life deeply connected to the rhythms of the wind, the water, the tides, the clouds, the earth, the sun, and the stars. He saw sunrises and sunsets, moonrises, shooting stars, lightning storms, powerful gusts of wind, the auroras, and snow so thick it seemed endless. He truly saw it all. Dad had a special throne, a view of our planet that very few people will ever experience.
Every day with Dad was an adventure. Some of them carefully planned, others completely unscripted. Like the day I learned to drive the Porsche. Sitting on his lap when I was about 10 years old. It lasted the better part of 15 seconds before I neatly put his pride and joy into a ditch. He laughed, brushed off the dust, and turned what could have been a small disaster into a story we laughed about for years. That was Dad, ready to turn mistakes into adventures and find the humor and joy in any moment.
He lived comfortably within speed. Wind through his hair, waves splashing his face, clouds flashing past, and he always wanted us to share those feelings with him. He took us on those adventures and tried to teach us everything he knew about the world and how to move through it.
Now, Dad had a remarkable way of getting all the way inside your world when you were a kid. If you were interested in something, anything, he threw himself into it with equal enthusiasm. If you wanted to fish, he became a fly fisherman overnight. When cricket was a phase, he was there, valiantly trying to bowl straight and pretending to know what a good length was. Even though, and I say this lovingly, he had absolutely I don't think he necessarily wanted to shape us as much as he wanted to share in what lit us up. That was his style of parenting. Total immersion, endless patience, and genuine enthusiasm. He had the same energy with my girls, sitting in the game vehicle for hours and hours with probably a 2-year-old Freya, because she had been on her first game drive and decided she was going to be a ranger. Or teaching Allegra how to feed the birds outside my parents' bedroom window, so they could both watch in awe all morning long.
When we traveled together, it was never about fancy hotels. It was about experience. Bustling side streets, street food, people, and stories. He had friends everywhere. Everyone knew Captain Grant. I remember our trip to Mumbai, the chaos, the colors, the noise. Together we dashed through the traffic, shared curries from Leopold's, and laughed until we cried. Years later, when I asked him to go back and find those same slippers from that same market, the ones I wore on my wedding day, he did with a huge grin on his face.
For us, adventure also meant weekends at the Val Dam. He spent years trying to teach me to sail. Years. I resisted with all the conviction a stubborn preteen could muster. He also tried tirelessly to get me up on... Yeah? Well, near enough. At the time, being the rebellious teenager that I was, I thought I'd finally shown him. But looking back, I know that he must have been delighted. He now had someone who could ski for 5 minutes, get tired, and then hand the handle back to him so he could have a long, very uninterrupted run himself. Classic Dad. Away from the water, there were the countless hours spent in the garage fixing things that weren't broken to begin with. I've since realized that that was his sanctuary, a place to think, to unwind, and tinker in peace. I understand it entirely now because I catch myself doing exactly the same thing.
In Botswana, the bush was the only place he truly slowed down. The fresh morning air, the Franklin's calling, the crunch of tires on dirt, and the flocks of guinea fowl. Those were his quiet joys. I learned how to drive in low range, how to get out of mud and sand, how to double clutch, how not to break my thumbs on the steering wheel in the little landy when we hit a hole. Even in my 40s, he still reminded me of those lessons on how to drive. At his core, he was gentle but determined, calm and generous, yet fiercely competitive when it mattered, especially on a yacht. He loved anything that got his heart rate up, sailing, fast cars, and moments where skill and instinct met in perfect balance. Through it all, he taught us to take risks, to trust ourselves, and to embrace life boldly rather than cautiously. He lived with purpose, curiosity, and humor, and showed us how to do the same.
When COVID shut the world down, I was stuck in Hong Kong for the better part of 3 years. Dad and I channeled that restlessness into something special, building my dream hot-rodded classic Porsche together. He managed the project from Johannesburg, where I lived through it vicariously through every photo, message, and video call. It carried the same spirit as when we restored the little Landy years ago, which was meant to be my first car, just as he had done with his own father. Those projects were so much more than cars. They were about connection, about patience, and pride in doing something properly. But also, as Dad would have put it, the car turned out pretty radical. Now, decades after resisting sailing, I took it up again in Hong Kong, and he loved that. He watched our race footage and training, pausing the videos and offering that gentle, knowing feedback. Our record out there is something that I know that he would be very proud of. And truthfully, that's the reason I do it. I love bragging.
I know.
I love bragging about his sailing prowess to anyone who will listen. He was brilliant, confident, precise, and fiercely competitive. The best kind of yachtsman, the best kind of man.
Dad accepted Matty into our family with care and kindness. Even though he did not know much about DJing, he was keen to understand. They shared a passion about space and the stars, geology and fossils. One night at the farm, spending hours in the wind, cold and pitch dark, setting up Keith's telescope to track the stars with determination and a whiskey in hand. When my girls came along, Dad absolutely melted, and Ella had him completely wrapped around their little fingers. He built a life-size Moana boat for the pool for Mia when the movie was released. He spent hours teaching Ella to snorkel and swim with her in the pool. He helped with homework, school lifts, and listened to every story and poem with genuine attention. Even in his final days, he asked, where were the girls? Are they okay? Always worrying about everyone else.
That same kindness extended to everyone. But there was something especially warm in how he welcomed people into our family. My wife, Margaret, absolutely adored him the moment they met. And I suspect helped tip the balance when it came to whether or not she was actually going to marry me. He had that rare ability to make everyone feel seen, heard, and cared for. He loved exactly as he wanted, with energy, enthusiasm, and joy, and showed us exactly how to do the same.
He was our rock, my first phone call when I needed help, or felt stuck, or was stuck. Nothing was ever too big or too small. Even though he was constantly back and forth on flights and adventures, he always came home, to us, to Mum, to family. He loved Mum deeply and steadily, a love built on respect, patience, and understanding. They accepted each other completely, always supporting one another's dreams.
Together, they set a shining example, not just how to be great partners, but also how to be great people.
They showed us that love isn't about grand gestures, but about consistency, kindness, and humor, being on the same team, even in quiet moments.
We've already begun passing Dad's lessons on to our children, and yes, they roll their eyes at some of them just like we did. But we carry on because they're good lessons and because they're him.
Dad was a loving husband, a wonderful father, and lived a life fuller than most people can ever imagine.
He truly was our hero, gentle yet adventurous, humble yet inspiring, and always leading by quiet example.
And just as we promised you, Dad, we have Mum under our wing, each and every one of us here today. We will make sure her journey is smooth, safe, and full of love. And full of love as the one you gave her. Yeah.
Your spirit will always be with us. In the wind, we love you always, and we'll miss you every single day.
Yeah.
Samuel Decker Thompson said, "We are all of us, just a car crash, a diagnosis, and unexpected things can take but a moment to alter who we are forever. Like flowers, we blossom, we shine, we bring great joy to others, and then we die and we move on. And we are all dying. It is the most natural and beautiful evolutionary process of life. The gift of death for those of us who remain behind is to embrace living with both hands, to embrace all the new in our lives, and to accept that gift from Grant by opening our hearts and not judging the events that allowed his soul to free itself from the body. And in an event like today, we are all given an opportunity to ask ourselves whether we are living a full life, living a life of our truth, our happiness, living a meaningful life with love. Is our life an adventure? Or are we just on the treadmill of life, fitting in, competing, pleasing, just surviving from one day to the next? The top 5 regrets of the dying are these. Number 1, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself and not the life others expected of me. Number 2, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. Number 3, I wish I'd had the courage to really express my feelings. 4, I wish I'd stayed more in touch with my friends. And number 5, I wish I had just let myself be happier. Grant has again made his family aware of the power of love, the power of caring, and the power of having concern for others. Now, have the courage to change, to evolve, to grow, to embrace being different, embrace the new in your lives. Grant most definitely did not want his death to close any of you down. He wanted it to ignite your passions, your love of life, and your memories of him to fill your hearts with love. Sadly, I never got to meet this amazing soul, but you all did. Take the gifts, your memories of Grant, and allow them to positively impact your life for the better. Be grateful that someone special was in your lives and mirrored back to you how special you are. And love more just because you can. Mandy and her family invite you all to join them for a drink and a toast to Grant, to a man who really loved to party. Thank you.
Anyone who ever held you would tell you the way I'm feeling. Anyone who ever wanted you try to tell you what I feel inside. tried to hurt you. He's explaining the way I'm feeling for all the jealousy I caused you. The snake's the reason why I'm trying to hide. As for all the things you taught me, it sends my future into clearer dimensions. You'll never know how much you hurt me. Stay a minute, can't you see that I wanna fall from the stars straight into your arms? I feel ya, I hope you comprehend. Too many hearts are broken. A lover's promise never came with a maybe. So many words are left unspoken. The silent voices are driving me crazy. After all the pain you